tried. Is Jamie in Chicago? Can you hear me?
Yeah, I can hear you.
Thank you
Can
so
hear me,
much
Matt?
for waiting. I'll shut up now.
Huh?
I said thank you for waiting. I'll shut up now.
Oh, okay, thanks. What's up, Matt? What's up, Don?
How's it going?
I called in about 2 weeks ago with 2 minutes left in the show and wasn't able to talk about what I'd like to, but and I have work pretty soon here, so I'm not going to have a whole lot of time, but I'll try to get to my point quick.
Okay.
I just wanted to talk about the existence of faith and how that might not be irrational or
The existence of what?
even a
The existence of what?
faith.
Satan?
No, I think he said faith.
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 Sorry.
Okay, yeah.
Sorry.
Can you hear me too well, or should I?
No, you're
Is that a
fine.
bad
You're
thing,
fine.
or-
Keep going.
Just me.
What was that?
Keep going.
Oh, okay. I like to think of myself as a pretty rational guy, and I don't take a whole lot of things without sufficient evidence. Like you said with the last caller, if someone tells me their name's Tommy, then I have to agree with them that their name is Tommy because it doesn't matter one lick of difference. But when we get into things like the metaphysical, things that are not manifested in reality, some people submit that you can't believe in them, and some people do believe in them.
Can you give me an example of what you mean? I mean, because
Something metaphysical,
when you say metaphysical as something that doesn't manifest in reality, my first response is you should go watch the supernatural transcendent dice that Tracy brought in, because if it doesn't manifest in reality, you can't say anything at all about it.
That's true. We can't say anything logically.
So
about
why would it
that.
even be a subject of discussion?
It's a subject of discussion because of the existence of faith.
So
Because there are people who want to make claims, right?
We have people asserting that there is something which doesn't manifest in reality, which they can't say anything about it, but they want so desperately to say something about it that they do. Okay, how is this different from a delusion?
It's almost no different from an illusion.
Okay.
Yep.
But still, these people believe in this, and I'm one of them.
Mm-hmm.
Yes. And it's very hard to describe because it does not manifest in reality, and our language is based on things
Might
we
say
see.
impossible to describe.
Yes, it is very impossible to describe.
Very impossible.
And I guess you just have to take it on faith.
Why
if
would
you're
you
capable
have
of
to
it.
take? Why would you have to or want to take anything on faith that it doesn't manifest in reality? You can't say anything about it. You can't know anything about it.
My point isn't that you should. My point is that you would have to if you do believe it.
Oh, I agree that if there's no manifestation, that's the only way is taken on faith. I'm asking, clearly you think this is something you should do since you do it, right?
I'm not saying it's something you should do. I'm saying it's something that I do.
Okay, so why do you do it?
I do it because I have faith. I mean, it's a circular argument. Faith exists because I have the faith. There's no rational explanation for it. I'm just saying that it does exist, and I do have it.
Okay. So you do something that you recognize as irrational, just because it's a part of who you are, and you note that there's no reason that you don't necessarily think that I should do the same.
Not if you don't feel you should.
Okay, so I guess we don't have any problem other than whether or not you take actions based on these faith claims, actions that apply to other people, then we'd have a problem. But apart from that, I wish I could convince you that it's probably not a good idea to, believe things on that sort of non-evidence. But you and I don't really have an issue.
Well, there's nothing I can really think of that I don't base on rational evidence other than this one sort of box I have. I've heard it referred to as the God box. It's the one space in your brain that some theists can't turn off, and it creates the faith within you.
Mm-hmm.
And I guess what I'm trying to say is there's no problem with people having this faith as long as they don't act on it and they don't do anything. They don't act crazy because of it. They don't
As long as
mutilate
they don't
themselves
act
or-
on it, as long as they don't act on it, I'd completely agree. Unfortunately, the truth is that we do act entirely based on what we believe to be true.
This is
Now,
It's hard not to act on it, yeah.
It's impossible not to act on what you believe. There's a hierarchy of belief. For example, I might believe that it's wrong to steal, but that's a general broad-based rule. For example, when New Orleans is demolished by a hurricane, all of a sudden stealing in order to stay alive does not fall into the same category. It's a more specific example, and you could look at it as perhaps a pyramid of here's my baseline belief, and then the exceptions chip away until we reach whatever point I wouldn't. But on some level, if you believe something, it's going to do two things. It's going to affect what else you find believable and are willing to accept, because it automatically is, you have within you some criteria for assessing reality that it differs from the rest of your criteria, and it has to affect that to some degree. Some people may be able to minimize it almost entirely, but there's still no overlap. Number two, it's going to affect actions that aren't overruled by other beliefs. So I don't know specifically what your claims are that you take on faith, so I couldn't possibly assess what harm. It may be so vague and innocuous that you're not doing any identifiable harm, but there is a problem in that. And by the way, this next part is my opinion. I think I can justify it.
All right, yeah.
I care about what I believe. I want to believe as many true things and as few false things as possible. Therefore, it's in my best interest to find a method that produces that sort of mindset, that allows through as many things that are true while blocking as many things that are false. And the reason for this is because, as I explained before, my actions are dictated by what I believe. And I don't mean that, I explained that enough already, I think.
Yeah.
Therefore, if you're living in reality, and the reason for all of this is because if you're living in reality, as I think we are, the best...
I don't think you can make the claim that you don't live in reality. That's a very fair claim to make.
You'd be surprised at what some people think I could get away
We get into this sometimes.
But in any case,
Really?
in order to
People
figure out,
argue with-
in order to make decisions, I think my opinion is that the best decisions are made when your view of reality is as accurate as possible. Would you agree with that?
Not necessarily.
Okay.
All choices you make are better when you know the truth. Is that sort of more of a layman's way of saying the same thing you just said?
It might be, I think.
When you know the truth, every action you take is therefore necessarily better?
No, when I'm saying when you're making decisions about what to do in reality,
All right.
you're going to make better decisions the better your worldview, the more accurate your worldview is with reality.
When we say when you take actions in reality, we're talking about anything you could ever do, from something as mundane as step forward to something as
Sure.
detrimental as taking heroin?
Sure.
All right. So the more information you have and the more true information you have, then every decision you make is better for it?
Yeah, that's kind of my position.
Okay. I guess I'm sure I could think of some situation where if you knew something that was a lie, you would make a better decision. Better is such a subjective term, though, that I don't think you can really make that claim. I don't know. I don't want to get into the semantics.
It may in fact be circular because my definition of better may have something to do with consistency with reality. But what I keep looking for is somebody to give an example where having a distorted view of reality helps you make a better decision.
Well, the term better is so subjective, I don't think you can ever make that claim.
It's still my standards of better, but I would think that, we would pretty much agree in most situations as to what's probably better.
I'm sure. I mean, I guess I think murder is wrong. Do you believe murder is wrong? Then in every case where I would murder somebody, I would say no. So in every case that has to do with murder, I guess we would agree, correct?
Well, now you've got to define what murder is.
Murder is killing someone with the intent of actually killing them.
Then no, it's not always wrong.
When would it be?
I don't know, war?
Yeah, the old war and self-defense.
War, self-defense. I mean, if you come at me with a gun and I've got a gun, I intend to shoot you before you shoot me. I don't consider that murder. I wouldn't consider that murder, which is, I'm just objecting to your definition, but I also wouldn't consider it morally wrong.
I would consider it self-defense, but still murder.
Okay, then do you think it's wrong?
It's in some degree, to some degree, I believe it is.
Okay, then we're in disagreement there.
Yeah, regardless of the circumstance, taking another human life is not okay.
Okay, I happen to disagree with you. I can probably come up with a dozen circumstances off the top of my head where I actually think it would be okay to take another life.
That's just a moral decision, so that's also completely subjective. We can't get anywhere arguing about that.
Oh, I disagree with that too, but I think that's the only way we've ever gotten anywhere is by having discussions.
Okay.
There may not be an agreement.
My morals,
but the discussion's worthwhile. Right?
Yeah, my moral views of things weren't always what they are now. They changed based on new information and based on discussions with other people. You know, my view on for example, abortion was primarily opposition because of the particular religious upbringing I had. That view is one of the views that definitely changed afterwards, after I abandoned my religious belief. But it didn't immediately just switch to the opposite. What happened was I had to sit down and consider it. Is this right or is it wrong, and in what circumstances, and why? What's my justification for thinking that? And that was the result of thinking about it and talking about it and considering what other people's views were and what their justifications were, and in having a view that was as consistently accurate to reality as possible. But anyway, we've hit 5 subjects. Was there something in particular you wanted to hit?
I just wanted to talk about the existence of faith. I think I pretty much hit on that topic in the first 5 minutes.
Okay.
Now, I'm sorry I have to go, but I have to get ready for work right now. I have it in about half an hour, but I'd love to give the audience my email address if they'd like to email me.
Oh, no. I once upon a time I would have let you. It turns out to be a really bad idea. I don't think you have any idea how many people are watching the show, but when we had the Bad Atheist show, and we talked about the Foolish Atheist, and we talked about the guy who was suing over bumper stickers, he's still getting email, and so are we. And by the way, if you're watching the show, please stop emailing both of us. Leave the poor guy alone.
It's gone on long enough. Yeah, you don't.
I don't mind.
These shows live on for a long time.
They're on the internet forever, and I don't mind giving out a web address or a blog or something, but I'm not giving out people's email addresses and certainly not phone numbers. But you're welcome to call back in anytime you want.
All right. Also, Jeff D, I think last week said he had something to talk to me about. I don't really remember.
Yeah, it's because you called in to say that God loves us.
I didn't call in to say God loves you, but I ended up saying that because we only had 2 minutes left.
Yeah, he's got some comments about that. But
all right,
I'll let him make it. And actually, if you email, by the way, it's a good time to pimp our email address, tv@atheist-community.org. If you email that, I'm sure Jeff would be happy to discuss that issue with you.
You know, I did, and the only person to drop me a line about it was you.
Okay, well, Jeff's busy. I'll see if he wants to talk about it.
I think we had a little snafu about Jeff being on the list or something.
And there were some emails that were bouncing, but I'll see what I can do. Email me again, David.
All right. Also, do you know when the next time he's going to be on is? So I'll just call in then, really.
A month? Well, no, actually, he won't be on again.
We have a 5-week co-host rotation.
This is a good time.
On our website.
This is a good time to mention it. Ordinarily, it'd be 4 weeks from today. However, next week is the last episode of the Atheist Experience that is guaranteed to be live using the current rotation and studio because Public Access Studio is closing for a good chunk of the summer. We're going to try and continue the show by broadcasting, streaming it from various people's homes, and
we'll see how that works.
Ustream, keep an eye on Ustream. We'll see how that works, and posting recorded shows up on the net.
So it's a challenge to us to see if we can make it go.
We don't know yet. But we'll definitely be back
Watch the website.
into August or September. Yeah, hit the ACA website for more information. Thanks, Damien.
Yeah, thank you guys.